Today we're painting Gory Flesh with this Mammoth Factory miniature. Also, it's my first time to use this Mobius point 2 airbrush from Gaahleri. We'll be airbrushing a lot in this video so that the painting process will be more efficient. We are going to airbrush some paints from the new historical sets and also airbrush some speed paints. So join me as we paint this beautiful Mammoth Factory Games miniature and turn it into this. Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my channel. This channel is supported by all these awesome brands. Also, special thanks to The Army Painter for making this video possible. Oh, don't forget my discount codes and affiliate links below. I use black spray can primer for the initial prime because I tend to like spray can primer since they are more durable. We are using the Gaahleri Swallowtail Airbrush for the initial colors of the underpainting since I don't need too much control with the initial few colors. You see me here using black paint, painting on the crevices that was not painted by the spray can. Now we paint strap gray from the historical set over the black primer. I thin down Warpaint's Fanatics 1:1 with Warpaint's Retarder. Strap gray is a very beautiful dark purple gray color and it transitions really well over the black primer. Oh, by the way, Gaahleri Airbrushes work really well with high pressure. I'm using, I think, around 30 psi as I paint this miniature. Now we paint with dark felt grau from the historical sets. This color and the next color are optional. I just wanted to see how they look on the miniature. I haven't painted with these paints yet, so I wanted to see how they blast from the airbrush. The undertones created by using these colors as underpainting are very much still visible at the final result. But they're too subtle, and if you're aiming for a faster painting process, I guess this color and the next are optional. Now we switch to my Mobius point 2 airbrush because I need more control with the painting of this color. I need finer lines and final detailing with the airbrush, so the Mobius point 2 is the perfect airbrush. This is my first time to use this Mobius point 2 airbrush from Gaahleri, and I must say, these airbrushes are stupid. They're cheap, they're dirt cheap, but they shouldn't be this good at this price point. I did not change the air pressure of my compressor, it's still at 30 psi, but I adjusted the small nozzle at the front of the airbrush so that there will be less air for detail painting. Also, I thinned the paints a little bit more, just a little bit more, so that they pass through the very tiny nozzle, the point 2 nozzle, effortlessly. The performance of this Mobius point 2 airbrush is very impressive. Like I said, it's not supposed to be this good at this price point. We have a ton of Harder & Steenbeck Infinity airbrushes, and my daughter Nico even has the Takumi Micron very expensive Iwata airbrush. And the main difference with this very expensive airbrushes with this with this Mobius point 2 is the weight. This Mobius point 2 is a tad heavier than Harder & Steenbeck Infinity airbrushes and of course the Takumi Micron Iwata airbrush. I cannot vouch for the durability and the finish of these Gaahleri airbrushes yet since they are new, but they are basically just heavier, so you're paying for the lightweightness of the Harder & Steenbeck and Iwata airbrushes. Now back to the miniature. We're giving the miniature a nice coat of matte varnish before painting more highlights. As usual, I'm using my Foxbite Kolinsky brush for the painting of more white matte highlights. You may simply dry brush these highlights if you want faster results. Once you're happy with your highlights, you may now proceed to painting the veins. I'm using Diabolic Plum, and you could use some dark blues and even like subtle reds and combine all these colors to paint veins. More colors used in the painting of the veins will give you a more realistic finish. But for the purpose of this video tutorial, I'm just painting with Diabolic Plum. Now if you find value out of this video, do give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Now we switch back to using the Mobius Point 2 Gaahleri Airbrush. Also, we're thinning down our speed paints with a little bit of speed paint medium. Speed paint through the airbrush does not need thinning, especially to use like a higher 25 to 30 psi air pressure. However, I wanted to add more transparency to the paint. More transparency to your paints means more control since you build up like the results or the painting slower and at a more controlled pace. Now we're using Age Hide. This color is very saturated, even if you thin it down with speed paint medium. So I'm just using this color as shadow or shade for the flesh parts. Oh, by the way, I hope it's still obvious since we're using speed paints and basically transparent paints. You could still see the Feldgrau and the underpainting underneath the painting. If we simply use gray tones or grays, our underpainting will be too neutral and it won't create this nice subtle undertones that gives a really nice like color depth to our painting, especially later. Now we're painting with Crusader skin, but I'm careful not to paint too much, or at least the second layer or second pass, I don't paint over the highlight areas. I'm pretty happy with the results so far, and I'm very impressed with the Gaahleri Airbrushes, especially the Mobius Point 2 Detail Airbrush from Gaahleri. Now this Mammoth Factory Games miniature just needs more highlights and effects paints to finish. It took me a couple of hours or so with the painting of the highlights and of course the base of this miniature. So needless to say, the highlighting was the most time consuming part of the painting of this huge miniature. I'm also in the process of designing a paint system like that would help people elevate their painting that is not too complex but will definitely end with very good results. So the designing of the paint system kinda slowed me down. After painting the veins and painting the highlights, we now apply a generous coat, a generous thick coat of gloss varnish on the flesh parts. The gloss varnish gives a more realistic or more gory finish to the flesh parts. I then let this gloss varnish cure a little bit for a couple of hours before applying some blood effects. I thin down the blood effects so that it will act more like a wash, and it complements the gloss varnish really well since the blood effects is also glossy. Since the blood effects is thinned down, you may want to apply the blood effects a couple more times or in a couple of layers. Let the blood effects dry for at least an hour, and then you may apply a thin coat of gloss varnish over the flesh parts to add more gloss to the finish. Now, before my final thoughts, a huge thanks to all my patrons at Patreon, Hajime Model Studio, and of course, the Army Painter for making this video possible. Other than the highlighting, our painting process today was very efficient. It took me just a few hours to finish this huge miniature. And also, I'm very happy with the gloss effect or the gloss varnish. It kind of gave a more gory finish to our Mammoth Factory miniature painting. As mentioned, the Gaahleri Airbrushes worked mighty fine. They're very impressive, especially at their price point. It's crazy and stupid that they perform this well at a very low price. Our historically correct underpainting gave a nice undertones for the final finish. This was a really good decision instead of just painting with gray paints. The veins could be better if you paint it with different colors like very light reds, like red purples and even dark blues. That will give more color depth to your painting, to your veins. But I'm pretty happy with the Diabolic Plum and Terrestrial Titan for the veins. Oh, by the way, pardon for my voice since I'm not feeling well the past couple of days. Lastly, if you like this miniature from Mammoth Factory Games, I'll put the link below to their campaign. That's it, Pansit. I hope you like this video. Do like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. Until next video, guys. Bye!